Hi everyone, welcome to Anna's Nail Advice, a series where you guys send me pictures of your troubled nails and I try to figure out what's going on with your nails and try to help you make them better. So I've been getting a lot of emails with very similar issues. So I hope I'm not boring you with these emails, but at the same time I cannot be just responding to these emails without making videos, because that way, you know, other people don't benefit from the information. So today we are going to be talking about, again, damaged nails. So let's see what this viewer has sent me. I'm in a really desperate need of your advice. I've been a nail biter, but luckily I got out of that habit this year. Congratulations. It's really, really difficult to kick this terrible habit. I got rid of the habit of gel nails. My nails have always been very fragile, thin and bendy, and having an extra layer of gel on top of them made me feel more at ease because they wouldn't bend as much, and it also prevented my nails from breaking. So this is very common misconception. People think that the gel makes the nails stronger, and then they get this very false sense of security. So let's just say that your nails are damaged, that they're just weak, and then you put the gel on them, and then you just don't feel the damage, but you are still damaging the nails by like just being rough with your nails. Because when you have a layer of gel on your nails and you are putting that gel through too much bending, hitting and things like that, something is going to give. So either the gel is going to come off, we don't want that. So normally we bond these products really, really well to the nails. And if that bond is very strong, well, guess what's going to happen? The product is going to pick up pieces of the nail. And so then, as nail technicians, we go back, we fix it. But when you are fixing it, you are making, unfortunately, more and more damage, because you have to remove those picked up cells, and then you bond the new product to new cells that are kind of undamaged, let's just say. And then for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you know, when you're hitting your nails, because you don't feel the pain, obviously, when you hit something, then the product is bonded to those new cells, and guess what? It's going to pick up those new cells and it's going to separate those new cells. And again, we see a pocket, we see a lifting, we have to fix it, or separation from the free edge, we have to fix it. So next time you get your nails done, they're removed, and it just goes on and on and on until the nails get really, really damaged. And unfortunately, it's almost like with teeth. When you have a cavity, you go to a dentist and they clean it up, they put a filling. But then when you go back, when the filling eventually gets loose, then they can't just take the filling out and put a new one. They have to clean that area again, and you're just losing more and more of the tooth. So the thing is, all these products, the gels, acrylics, dips, whatever you choose to use, they are great as a decoration, for the nails to look good, nice and shiny. They can correct the shape a little bit. You can have long-lasting nail color, but that's about it. Like, I really don't like to sell these products as any strengthening to the nails. And we also have to realize that, again, the prep of the nail, the prep of the natural nail, the removal of the product, and the actual wear can weaken the nails. The question is now, can you afford a further weakening of the nail? Normally, no. So, you have to be very, very careful and care for your nails, and make sure that you're going to a nail technician that is very skilled and has a lot of respect for the natural nails. Because believe it or not, natural nails are a wonderful thing for the thinness that they have. They have amazing strength. So it's always better to have a very good, healthy nail, because that gives you an amazing foundation to the product. Because if you remove, let's say, 1/10 of, I don't know, millimeter of the nail, you have to then put 3 millimeters of gel on top of it, because there is no such a product that is as thin and as strong as a natural nail. So the stronger and the better the natural nail is, the less product you require. So it is really, really important to be very, very gentle on your nails, and not to be removing too much nail at the prep, so at the beginning of the appointment, and also at the removal. And that is very, very common that happens. Sadly, I became allergic to it and I cannot use it anymore. The allergies things is getting very, very common. And unfortunately, I think it's like a perfect storm that is happening right now. So there is a lot of people that are just doing these products themselves, and they have no idea how these products really work. They don't know the chemistry behind them. And unfortunately, these products are being sold to DIYers as, well, you know, just put some builder on the nails just to make them nice and strong, and it's still nice and easy, you just paint it on. And the companies don't really talk about allergic reactions. And then they find like a scapegoat like HEMA, for example, now, and then they start blaming the ingredient that's a toxic ingredient. So the solution is, we're just going to get rid of this ingredient and then sell you a new product. But the problem is not the ingredient. The problem is a lack of knowledge about these products. I had someone just recently email me with the same problem, and she, actually, I'm going to say it because that I'm not trying to badmouth the company. It's just this is what happened. So she was using Zoya Gel Cure that is marketed for, I believe, then DIYers, right? Because it's sold to DIYers. I think it's sold without a license. So what she was doing is she was applying, it's supposed to be easy. So she was applying a thin coat of clear gel just to make her nails nice and shiny. So, but unfortunately, maybe she was using a layer that was a little bit too thick, or maybe her nails were just kind of sensitive. And what was happening, she felt a heat when the gel was curing, and not understanding how this process works, because that could be quite normal sometimes. What she was doing, she was using the lamp that the company provided on the low setting. She says she was using on a low heat, and all of a sudden she started developing redness and very bad itching around the nails after she applied the product. I looked at the ingredients and I was actually surprised, because you know Zoya is all about the healthy nails and everything else, but it does contain HEMA. So HEMA is a monomer, so it's like a little molecule that is in the product that facilitates the bonding, so it makes the product bond a little bit better. Now the problem is when the product is not used properly, or when there is too much HEMA in the product, people develop allergic reactions. So there's nothing really wrong with HEMA. I've been working with HEMA for 25 years, and when you understand the products, when you know how to work with these products safely, you know, knock on the wood, I've never had any problems with it. I haven't had one person that was allergic to it, and I've been doing thousands and thousands and thousands of manicures. Now, I never really talked about it, but this just makes so much sense. Maybe I should make another video about it. So the problem is, again, when you are counting, or when you are hoping that these products are going to make your nails stronger, usually you go for these products because your nails are weak to begin with. Very often they're not just weak, they're damaged. So what happens is, especially with HEMA, but also with other ingredients, is that all these products, well, I know about HEMA for sure, they are okay to be used. Get this is super important. They're okay to be used on normal and healthy nails, not on damaged and overfiled and missing nails. And there should be no skin contact, unless it's very accidental. So if you, let's say, are, you know, putting it on the nail and you just slightly touch the skin a little bit once in a blue moon, I mean, you try not to do it, but sometimes the hand slips or a client moves and you touch the skin. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when there is a continuous skin contact with the product. So normally people think, oh, well, I'm not touching the skin, but they're not thinking about the fact that when the nail is so thinned out, when the nail is so damaged, it's pink, it's very, very, you know, painful, and they're putting product on top of it to protect it. The product, the molecule of HEMA, for example, is so small that it can penetrate through the very weakened thin nail into the nail bed, and it can make a contact with nail bed, which is a living skin. And the living skin recognizes, because the nail is dead. You put something on the nail, the body doesn't know about it because it's a nail. But the second you are, well, not the second, but you know, continuously when you do that once, probably nothing is going to happen. But then when you do it over and over again, and people are doing it all the time because they're using these products to cover up damaged nail plates, and that's not what these products are designed to do. So when you're continuously putting product on a damaged and thin out nail, HEMA, let's say, eventually the nail is being penetrated with the product, and the nail bed recognizes that over and over it's been assaulted with these very highly allergenic products, And what it tries to do, it tries to get rid of that contact. So it's starting to separate the nail from the nail bed, and that's when you get onycholysis. So going back to that story, so this is what can happen. That's very common actually, especially nowadays, because people are using sometimes products that have high amounts of HEMA, so this is happening very quickly. So that can happen in one way. Another skin contact is when you are wiping the sticky layer and you just don't know that you actually are wiping it into the skin, and you're just leaving it there. So with this person, when she was using the product and she was not curing it properly because she was using it on low heat, she just thought, oh, okay, so low heat. The low heat in the lamp is designed to start the curing process very slowly, because what happens is when you cure these products, the initial reactions happens very, very quickly, which that creates a lot of heat. There is an exothermic reaction, so there is a heat that product is producing. And then you sometimes, obviously you feel it through the nail, because the nail is sometimes thin, and you can, or if there is a lot of product, then there is a lot of heat. So you can feel it. So the key is to slow down the curing process at the very beginning. So we can do it two ways. We can put the hand in a lower intensity lamp, or like there are low intensity settings, or we can put the hand in for 1, 2, 3 seconds, pull it out. 1, 2, 3, pull it out. Pull it out before it starts hurting, because once it starts hurting, it's too late. So when it has slowed down, then you're supposed to put your hand under the lamp for the full cure time. But people don't realize that. They just put their hand under the low heat setting, and then they think it's cured. And it's not, absolutely it's not. Because again, people don't realize that these products will look shiny and hard when they are only cured up to 50%. You cannot tell with your eyes if the product is cured or not. This is the biggest misconception, that people think that, look, it's shiny, it's strong, so it's cured. Meanwhile, half of the molecules, half of the little chains joined, and the other half are empty. They're still reactive. So then those reactive little chains, they cause allergic reactions, because once the product is cured, once it becomes a plastic, you're not allergic to it. Mind you, these products never fully cure, like they can cure to, let's say, 90 something percent. So there's always a risk, but the risk is very, very low when you cure them like up to, 90% or something, but not 50, not 55, and not 60. So, and this is happening very often, and people don't realize that. They look at the product, they're like, oh yeah, it's nice and shiny. The only way, how do you know? The only way is that you send the product, unfortunately, to a lab to have it tested if it's cured properly. So that's why the companies usually either create the product for a certain lamp, or then they test the product with different lamps and see which one works. For how long, like how thin you have to make the coats. It's like there's more to the story. It's not just like, okay, every lamp cures it. No, every lamp is going to harden the product, but not every lamp is going to cure it properly. So this is about the allergic reactions, which is very, very important. Everybody talks about it. Everybody blames HEMA, but it's not HEMA. It's the lack of knowledge about these products. Okay, so she says, I think my nails have some damage because of the gel polish. And I've been trying to use normal polish, which helps a little with giving extra layer to the nails, but they are breaking still, and it's a big problem for me. Yes, so there's definitely damage. So this is why there's definitely damage. So this is why they're breaking. So there was, I would say, no damage from here to here in the last 2 months maybe. But all this area is damaged. So when there is a surface damage, when the nail is obviously thinned out, and don't forget the first layers of the nails are I want to say almost like the most important. It's almost like let me just show you something. Imagine this is a book, okay? So imagine, so this is the proximal nail fold, that's where the cuticle is, this is the free edge, okay? So the nail, it's like a thick book. So the nail has, the first layers of the nail are very hard, and they're very resistant. So if you spill something on this book, but you spill something here, and you wipe it off right away, it's not going to damage the book. But if you remove by buffing and sanding this area, and you spill something on the inner layers of the nail, then sorry, in the inner layers, the pages, then the book is going to get damaged. Mind you, the natural nail does not have the protection on the bottom. So imagine this book, that this is the nail, okay? And this nail has a protective layer, and all these layers are then, when you remove this, unprotected. And imagine as, for example, that these pages are a little bit stronger and these pages are much weaker. So the more surface you remove, the more weaker nail you are exposing. So, and the weaker nail will absorb the HEMA or whatever, ingredients that people can be allergic to. It's not just HEMA. Many of those ingredients are allergenic, and it's okay as long as you know how to use those products. So what I recommend, first of all, when I see that nail is very, very damaged, I recommend shortening the nail, absolutely no free edge whatsoever, and then waiting for this to grow out. There was no other way about it. Yes, you can wear nail polish just so the nails feel a little bit better. But the problem with nail polish is, it's a very unpopular opinion, but the problem with nail polish is that it makes your nails feel a little bit better, but at the same time, it can damage the nail surface a little bit, unfortunately. I find that the damage is not as bad, for example, if you're just wearing one coat of nail polish, but if you're piling up the layers and you are leaving it for too long, it can definitely cause surface damage. So I would definitely shorten this nail for sure, because if that nail is pretty weak, it's going to break here, and if it's too long. So shortening, and definitely doing warm oil soaks. And the warm oil soaks are not going, I'm going to link the video, a video about it at the end of this video, or in the comment section as well, in the description box as well. So the warm oil soaks, what they're going to do is the oil is going to eventually, with each warm oil soak every week, it's going to reach a little bit deeper and deeper into the nail plate, plasticizing the nail, so just protecting it. So think of it as, for example, having a wooden nice table. For example, that table is outside a lot, so you want to put a wax on it, so the wax will protect the surface, right? So you want to wax it as much as a few times, obviously, because very thin layer that hasn't absorbed quite a bit, it's not going to be very helpful. But the more you do it, the deeper the product will soak into the table, and it's going to protect it more, right? So this is the same thing you want to do with your nails. Once a week, the warm oil soak, and that also is going to help the skin around the nails. And I would definitely recommend a product like a Carousel. It's an ointment, which is actually for the feet. It's for the heels, but it does, in my opinion, a very good job for around the nails as well. So the skin does not look as dry. So it's nicely healed, and you don't have these issues. Okay, so I kind of see that maybe the skin has been cut, the living skin around the nails, which never is a good idea, but a lot of people do it. So try not to obviously cut the skin. If it's dry, just take care of it and protect it, because when you take care of the skin is going to get softer, and it's going to look much, much better without absolutely any cutting. And again, very similar damage to the other, compared to the other hand. So this is going to take like 1 month, 2 months, probably at least 2.5. So unfortunately, there is no way of us speeding up the growth of the nail. So we just have to have patience, and you just have to keep doing what you're doing for 2.5 months or 3, and you're gonna have to wait until this grows out. And that's all you can do, and shorten the nails so that way they don't break and you put less pressure on them. So my questions are, do you have any advice on how to make my nails stronger? And this is actually a very good question. So she said the correct word, stronger, because very often people think, the second part, could I maybe use a nail hardener to help my situation? So no, you want your nails stronger. You don't necessarily want them harder, especially at this point, because the hardener only makes the nails harder, not stronger. So the strength is a perfect balance. So let's say if we have bendiness on this end and hardness on this end, the strength is a perfect balance between the both, okay? Between the flexibility and between the hardness. So you want something in the middle. You don't necessarily want to make the nails harder and harder and harder, because the harder you make the nails, the more brittle you're making the nails. Some people do benefit from a hardener, but that's actually quite rare. So I definitely recommend first letting the nails grow out and then see how the nails are, because very often once the nails are healthy, nice and strong, and they're conditioned with the oil, you won't need you don't need a hardener. So the best strengthener is the oil, and jojoba is one of the best oils. Actually, it's not an oil, it's a wax ester, but let's just call it an oil. And used on a regular basis, it makes big difference. But of course, the companies are trying to make you sell, they try to sell more and more products, and you can't be excited over the same product over and over and over again. So what they do very often, they just come up with fancy names and all these strengtheners. I just find they just don't work. They don't work. They might make your nail feel a little bit better, but it's almost like putting a cast on the arm. Is that making your nail or the arm any stronger? No, it just feels stronger. And yes, sometimes you might need it. I mean, broken bones are different things, but sometimes yes, but this is not a solution for generally weak bones, right? So we have to think about why this is happening, and this is happening because there is a damage. If the nails again are healthy and they have grown out and they're still very flexible, very flimsy, very almost like moist feeling, and nothing sticks to them, everything peels off, because that's also a sign of nails that are too flexible, then yes, hardener might be a good idea. But at this point, no. And an additional thing, very important, same thing when I was telling you about HEMA, happens to a very effective nail hardener that contains formaldehyde or formalin. It actually does not contain formaldehyde, but a lot of companies list the formalin as formaldehyde. I don't know why. It's a different chemical. So that ingredient is also very effective, very quick at hardening nails. But yes, it's allergenic as well. As long as you're putting that hardener on a healthy nail that is just bendy, too bendy, it has too much water in it, it's fine. You probably are not going to develop an allergic reaction, and you want to use it very rarely, and because it acts so fast, you don't have to use it all the time, just once in a while. But what people are doing is they are using it on a damaged and thinned out nail. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to have skin contact, because the product is going to seep through the nail into the nail bed, and the nail bed is going to freak and say, I don't want this chemical on myself. So it's going to separate. You're gonna get separation. You're gonna get onycholysis, and this is what's happening. And also, when people overuse that product, when they overuse formaldehyde, they over harden the nails, and again they can get onycholysis, because the nails get over hardened. And once the nails are very hard and brittle, there's no way of actually making them more flexible anymore. So be very careful with those hardeners. Again, they're very effective, but they sometimes can be a little bit too effective. So at this point, oil is your best friend. So absolutely no to the hardener. Do you think I should only wear normal nail polish, or are there some gel-like products that give extra strength and protective layer I would still be able to use? No. Yes, you can wear normal nail polish, definitely. What I would recommend is shortening the nails using like a clear one coat, because I feel that just keeps the nails, it's still flexible on the nails, and it does not cause as much surface damage. And then 6 days into that nail polish, you can use the cheapest polish on the market. Seriously, like Essence base coat and top coat probably. Like, you don't have to use anything fancy. And then 6 days later, take off that polish, do a warm oil soak, and then you can start again until your nails, until the damaged part grows out. There are no like gel-like products that give extra strength and protective layer, because again, any strength comes with a cost. So the stronger the product, the more damage it can cause. So you should not be counting again for strength when it comes to enhancements. Enhancements, and I know this is very unpopular opinion, but they should only be used for the look, how beautiful they look. not for the strength. And again, natural nail is very, very strong. And when it's healthy, it's going to be amazing. But very often people damage the nails and then they're looking for something to fix that. And it just doesn't work that way. So there was a couple more things that I would mention. And the reason why I like them is because they're polish free. So first is the instant pen. And that one has mastic gum. And don't be afraid that the second ingredient is an alcohol, because alcohol just is a solvent that it makes it solves, it dissolves the ingredients so they can be put on the nail. So the instant pen, that one has to be used every single day. It does make the nail feel a little nicer. It's a little bit more shiny, makes the nail a little bit more shiny. And it just keeps the nail cells together. It's a very nice product. And then another product that I also would recommend in this case, but again, it has to be applied on a bare nail. So if you're wearing polish, you can't benefit from those products. So it is the second product. It's called the C&D. It's made by C&D. It's called Rescue RX. And that one is advertised that it has some keratin, but the keratin is actually just a moisturizer, but it has some other ingredients that just help to bond the nail cells together, and just they help to protect the nail. It also is very, very nice, and that one has to be used twice a day, so in the morning and at night. So these two products I would highly recommend for damaged nails. They just help. They're not miracle, they're not going to repair anything, but they're just going to condition whatever you have so you don't get more damage, because when the nail is so thinned out with the constant wear and tear, washing your hands and everything else, you are getting more and more damage. So these products just help to prevent a little bit more damage. They help to condition the nail. They're not going to nourish it because the nails are dead. They can't eat anything. They're not going to strengthen it really. They're just going to, condition. But they're not going to make it harder either. But they do make a difference. And if you want to spend the money on them, I definitely recommend it. But the most important thing is the oil, the warm oil soaks, and washing and using just a drop of oil on your hands after each hand wash. And I know it's asking for a lot, but when you think about it, one more thing, as we are washing our hands, the soap doesn't know which are the good oils and which is the dirt. So it just gets rid of everything. But the oils are very, very important, because the oils are what keeps the cells of the nails and the skin together. Without those precious oils, the skin actually falls apart, and that's what you see as dryness. When we wash our hands and we get rid of those precious oils, that what you want to do is you want to, when you dry your hands, just put a dab of oil on your hand and just put it on your nail, just like this on your nails, and then just move it around. You can use even a towel if you feel that your hands are a little greasy, because the oils that you need, the oils that you washed off, there's not a lot of oil. You're not washing off a teaspoon of oil. You're just removing small amount of oils, but those small amount of oils, it's important for them to be in the skin. So every time you wash your hands, just dab of oil, preferably some tiny amount of urea based lotion, and then one time a week the warm oil soak. I hope this video was helpful. I'm sorry I made it much longer than I was hoping for, but I hope this is going to help you guys and the person that wrote to me. Thank you again for watching. Bye.